Om Shanti. Today we will listen to Baba's Murli, dated 29th September 2020. Baba says, "Sweet children, everything in your study depends on yoga. It is by having yoga that you souls become pure and are absolved your sins. We have 4 subjects in our study: the study, yoga, dharana, and service. And the most important subject is yoga, because our aim is to become pure and finish our sins. And it is only through yoga that we can do that. Today's question is, some children belong to the Father and then let go of His hand. What is the reason for this? So Baba says, some children divorce the Father and let go of His hand even after belonging to Him for 8 to 10 years. This is because they do not fully recognize the Father. There is a difference between receiving the introduction of the Father and recognizing the Father. So one is somebody telling you that this is your Father, and another is your heart saying, "Oh, I met my Father." So because of this lack of recognition, and they don't have faithful intellects, so their status is destroyed. So some people, because of their journey as a soul, have developed doubtful intellects. So these souls also are not able to have faith that this is Baba. And some have received the introduction but do not recognize Baba. Then another reason is, when children have criminal eyes, there are bad omens of Maya, and their stage fluctuates and they then stop studying. So we should take care not to be distracted too much by Maya, because this pull of Maya, and then Maya pulls us that way, and then we make an effort to come this way, then again we are pulled, then we again make effort, and this causes a tiredness in the soul, and then one stops studying. Om Shanti. The spiritual father explains to the spiritual children, you now understand that all of you are the spiritual children of the unlimited Father. All of us are children of that one unlimited Father. You call us Baap Dada because Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba together serve as parents to the whole of humanity. Just as you are spiritual children, so this one, Brahma Baba, is also a spiritual child of Shiv Baba. Shiv Baba definitely needs a chariot. Therefore, just as you souls have received organs in order to act, similarly, Shiv Baba has taken this chariot. Which chariot? The chariot of Brahma Baba. This is the field of action where actions are to be performed. And a soul cannot perform actions without a chariot or a body. So Shiv Baba also loans the chariot of Brahma Baba in order to perform the action of giving Gyan, giving the true knowledge to us souls, us children. That is the home where souls reside. So Baba says, this is the field of action. Here you have a body. There is a drama going on. There is action. And then there is that dimension which is the home where we the souls reside. Take your buddhi wherever Baba wants you to be now. So Baba first took our awareness to this stage, which is the field of action, and how Shiv Baba has to take the chariot of Brahma to perform action in this field of action. And now Baba is moving our intellects to that world of silence where we souls reside. You souls know that your home is the land of peace, where no play is performed. There are no lights. Souls just reside there. They come here to play their parts. It is in your intellects that this is an unlimited drama. You children know number-wise, according to the efforts you make, all the acts that the actors perform from the beginning through the middle to the end. Because Baba has given us knowledge of the three aspects of time. So we know what was the act of every actor in the beginning, what was it in the middle, and what is it in the end. So Baba has empowered our buddhi, our intellect so much that we can see all the three aspects of time. We can take our intellect to the world of silence, see and experience how we were there, and also understand this limitless drama, this unlimited play where everything was different in the beginning, then it grew different in the middle, and now it is completely different at the end. Baba says, it is not a sage or holy man, etc. here explaining to you. You children are sitting here with the unlimited Father. We now have to return home. So the unlimited Father is called the one with the third eye, the one who knows the three aspects of time, and the one who knows the three worlds. So because we are sitting in front of me, he also makes us Trinetri, Trikaldarshi, and Trilokinath. He also makes us the knower of the three aspects of time, of the three worlds, and he opens up our third eye with which we can see what these two eyes cannot see. So Baba says we now have to return home. He is giving us the knowledge of time, and we know that now is the time to become pure and go back to that world of purity, and then again come back to Satyug where there is purity. Souls definitely have to become pure. It isn't that the bodies will also become pure here. No. It is souls that become pure. The bodies will only be pure when the five elements have become Satopradhan. You souls are now making effort to become pure. And then when will the five elements of nature become Satopradhan? In Satyug. So there we will have pure bodies. There, both the souls and the bodies are pure. It cannot be like that here. When you souls become pure, you will leave your old bodies. Then, new bodies will be created out of the new elements. You know whether you, a soul, remember the unlimited Father or not. Now, all this act of becoming pure and becoming ready for the pure world has to take place by remembering the purest of the pure, by remembering the purifier or the ocean of purity. Now we have to ask ourselves, how much do we remember the purifier? Each of you has to ask yourself this question. Everything in this study depends on yoga. The study is very easy. You understand how the cycle turns. The main thing is the pilgrimage of remembrance, which is internal and incognito. Nobody can see what we are doing in the inside. It is not possible to see it. Only you can see it. Nobody else can see how much you remember Baba. Baba cannot say whether someone has a lot or a little remembrance. Yes, for knowledge you can say that someone is very clever in their subject. Nothing about remembrance is visible. Knowledge is spoken with the mouth. Remembrance is the unchantable mantra. So remembrance is that which you continuously engage in, just like people do chanting. But in this remembrance, you don't have to chant anything, because it is with the cord of love that you always remain connected with Baba, and there is no need to chant anything with the mouth, but then there is a continuous chanting going on inside in the way of thoughts, where you are always connected to Baba and always creating thoughts and feelings connected with Him. So remembrance is the unchantable mantra. The word chant belongs to the path of devotion. To chant means to chant the name of someone. So we do not chant the name of Baba. We are connected with the qualities and the virtues and the knowledge that Baba is given and the powers that Baba is giving. So we do not chant Baba's name. We only have a mental connect with who He is and how He is and how He talks and what is He saying. So Baba says, here you souls have to remember your Father. You know that by continuing to remember your Father and by continuing to become pure, you will reach the land of liberation and peace. It isn't that you will be liberated from the drama. So the scene will change, but the drama doesn't end. So now it is time to go back to the home and to come back to the pure world. So we have to become pure, and by doing that, we will go to our home and then come back to the golden age. But that we will not be free from the drama. Liberation means, so everybody thinks that liberation means liberation from the cycle of birth and death. But the problem is that we do not even think what is our issue with life and death. So we have no problem with life. we have a problem with sorrow. Life as such is enjoyable, but only when there is sorrow we aim for liberation. So, Baba today defines liberation for us. Liberation means to be liberated from sorrow. You will go to the land of peace and then go to the land of happiness. So, Baba is the liberator because he liberates us from the land of sorrow. Those who become pure experience happiness because purity is the mother of peace and happiness. And impurity gives birth to peacelessness and unhappiness. So, if you want to be liberated from sorrow, you have to become pure. Impure human beings serve them. Whom? Those who become pure. There is praise of those who are pure. It is this that takes effort. Purity takes effort. Because for purity, you have to have the power of remembrance. Because right now, our consciousness is that of impurity. So, only by anchoring our consciousness to the pure world, to our pure state, to the purest of the pure, the purifier Shiv Baba, and understanding that I am his child, so my original quality is also purity, can we again go back to becoming pure. So Baba says the eyes deceive you a great deal and you fall. Everyone has to fluctuate. Everyone experiences bad omens. Although Baba says that children can also explain, he also says mother gurus are required because there is a system nowadays of mother gurus. So when Baba came, he made mothers to be the gurus to give this divine knowledge. Previously, it used to be fathers. Now it is the mothers who are first given the urn. Which urn? The urn of knowledge. The majority is of mothers. Kumaris tie a Rakhi for purity. So Baba says, when it is a question of knowledge, then mothers are able to imbibe knowledge very well. So I give the urn of knowledge to mothers. And because Kumaris are pure, I give them the duty to make others pure by tying the Rakhi of purity. So the Rakhi stands for the commitment or the promise that I will stay pure. This is why in earlier times Brahmins used to tie Rakhi to people. It was not sisters, it was Brahmins, because it was supposed that Brahmins stay pure. But then gradually that system changed. So Baba says now you are tying the true Rakhi because Rakhi is tied for protection. And an impure soul cannot be protected from the wrath of its own karma. So that is why if you want to be protected, you should become pure. And Kumaris who are themselves pure tie the Rakhi of purity and take a promise from brothers and sisters alike to become pure. And when you become pure, then your pure karma protects you against any problems. So Baba says, now is the system that Kumaris tie Rakhi of purity. God says lust is the greatest enemy. Conquer it. Raksha Bandhan is the festival of purity. Those people tie a Rakhi but they don't become pure. All of those Rakhis are artificial. None of them makes you pure. You need knowledge for that because purity, what does purity mean? So purity starts with celibacy. But again, there is purity of the mind, the purity of eyes, purity of attitude, purity of ears, purity of intent. So, purity has many aspects, and one needs to understand purity very well. And you can only understand purity when you remember the pure world in which you lived, where you didn't have a body. And then in Satyug, when you had a body but you had no impurity, or do you remember the Father who is the ocean of purity? Can you understand purity? So Baba says you need knowledge for understanding purity. You now tie a Rakhi. So only by understanding what true purity is, we commit to become pure. You also explain the meaning of it and have them make a promise. The Sikhs wear a steel bangle as their symbol, but they don't become pure either. Even the kangan, the kada that the Sikhs wear, is a symbol of purity, but then they don't understand it and then they don't become pure. The purifier of the impure and the bestower of salvation for all is only the one. He is not a bodily being, so only when Baba comes, he teaches us to go back to purity. And by embracing purity, we go back to the land of salvation, which is the soul world, and then we come back to the world of purity, which is Satyug. So Baba says the water of the Ganges is visible with these eyes. The Father, who is the bestower of salvation, cannot be seen with these eyes, but he can be seen with the third eye, which is actually the eye of wisdom or the eye of understanding. No one can see what a soul is. It is said that there is a soul in each body, but has anyone seen it? They say no. Everything that has a name is definitely visible. The soul too has a name. It is said that a wonderful star shines in the center of the forehead. So the form is also known that the form is that of a star and the name is a soul. But then you can't see one soul with these eyes. You can only see a soul by understanding, by the third eye of wisdom. So Baba says, however, it is not visible. They remember the Supreme Soul, but he is not visible. Lakshmi and Narayan can be seen with these eyes. Although people worship a lingam that is not accurate, so Shiv Baba is not something physical like the Shivling. Although they can see that, they don't know who the Supreme Soul is. No one can know this. So this is why you need knowledge. Why do you need knowledge for something you can see? You can see and understand, right? But knowledge is required to understand those things which you can't see. And only by understanding you can then see. That's why when you understand something, you say, I see. So the ocean of knowledge, Shiv Baba gives us the knowing, the knowledge of that which you can't see, and only by that knowledge you start seeing them. That is, you have the third eye of understanding through which you can perceive that reality which is beyond the comprehension of these two eyes. So Baba says, no one can know this. Souls are very tiny points. They are not visible. Neither is a soul visible, nor is the Supreme Soul visible, but they can be understood. You now understand that your Baba has entered this one. This soul has his own body. Which soul? The Brahma soul has his own body. And then the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul says, I am present in this one's chariot. This is why you call us Bap Dada. because Baba is also there and Dada. Dada means elder brother. Brahma Baba is also there in the same body. You can see Dada with your with your eyes, but you can't see the Father. You know that Baba is the ocean of knowledge, not Dada. Baba is the ocean of knowledge, and that He is giving you knowledge through this body. This understanding has to come through knowledge. You can't see all these processes. He is the ocean of knowledge and the purifier. How else could the incorporeal one show you the path? What is the other option? He doesn't have a body of his own, so how does he show you the path on this field of action? He has to take somebody's body on loan. Nothing happens through inspiration. No one knows that God comes. People also celebrate the birthday of Shiva. Therefore, he must definitely have come here. You know that he is now teaching you. Baba enters this one and teaches you. Because of not fully recognizing the Father and not having faithful intellects, some divorce the Father even after 8 to 10 years. So, all this is happening, you are given the knowledge also. But if the intellect doesn't have faith, or if one doesn't recognize the Father, then they are not able to claim the legacy that the Father is giving. And then they leave Baba. Maya completely blinds them. When you leave the Father after belonging to Him, your status is destroyed. You children have now received the Father's introduction. Therefore, you have to give it to others. Just like your third eye opened, you understood, you also speak with your third eye open, and you will be able to open the third eye of others. Rishis and Munis have been saying neti neti, means neither this nor that. I don't know. Previously, you didn't know either. You now say that you know everything about him, and so you have become theists. You also know how the world cycle turns. So when Baba comes, he makes us know everything about himself and everything about the beginning, middle, and end of the creation. So by knowing everything from the Father, we become theists from atheists. As well as the whole world, you too were atheists before you studied this. Now that the Father has explained to you, you say that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, has explained to you and made you into theists. We didn't know the creator or the beginning, the middle, or the end of creation. The Father is the creator. He comes at the confluence age to establish the new world and destroy the old world. There is this Mahabharat war for the destruction of the old world, and for which they believe that Krishna existed at that time. So everybody thinks that Krishna came at the end of the old world and the creation of the new world. But then in the Gita it is written that one among a millions recognizes God. So the thing is, Krishna looked like God. So then why would it require recognition if Krishna looked like Krishna? So it is because Baba, who is the incorporeal, takes this ordinary body and speaks through this body and gives you the knowledge of destruction of the old world and creation of the new world. That is why this aspect of recognition comes up. because the Father is not visible to the naked eye. So you have to use your eye of understanding and recognize Him. Otherwise, if it was as it is written in the Gita, that is, Sri Krishna was the Father or the Godfather and He came, then why did the question of recognition arise? So Baba says, you now understand that it was the incorporeal Father who came. So Baba says, He cannot be seen. There is the picture of Krishna, He can be seen. Shiva cannot be seen. Krishna was a prince of the golden age. He cannot have those same features again. And anybody in the Iron Age cannot have the features which Sri Krishna had, because the body is made up of 5 elements, and the 5 elements are in their most degraded state right now. No one knows how or when Krishna came. So Krishna came in the golden age as the first prince, but he was created in this confluence age when Brahma Baba imbibed the knowledge, virtues and powers given by Shiv Baba. Then he is able to come back to his form of Sri Krishna. So no one knows this process of Brahma becoming Vishnu and Vishnu becoming Brahma. Although in the scriptures it is shown that from the navel of Vishnu arises Brahma. So that one who was the perfect one in the first birth becomes the imperfect one, the ordinary one in his last birth, Brahma. And then Brahma Baba is taught by Shiv Baba, given the virtues and powers and the knowledge, through which he again becomes the first one, which is Sri Krishna. And nobody knows this process, and nobody knows that Shiv Baba is the ocean, the creator. So Baba says, no one knows how or when Krishna came. They show Krishna in the jail of Kans. Did Kans exist in the golden age? How could that be possible? Kans is a devil. So devils are there in this age. So it is not God who comes, it is not Krishna who comes in this devil world. It is God, the incorporeal one who comes in this devil world. At this time, the whole world is the community of devils. They continue to kill one another. They have forgotten that their God established the divine world of God. This is in your intellects number-wise according to the efforts you make. At present, you are God's family, and you will then become the deity family there. So, God adopts us, makes us His family, however dirty, filthy, imperfect we are. God adopts us, purifies us, and makes us qualified enough to belong to the deity family. At this time, God is making you worthy of becoming the deities of heaven. The Father is teaching you. No one knows this confluence age. None of the scriptures mention this most elevated confluence age. The most elevated confluence age means the time when people become elevated beings. So this is the time to change from ordinary to extraordinary by having yoga or connection with the most extraordinary, with the ocean. Because you become like the one you have yoga with. The golden age is called the most elevated age. Human beings are not elevated at this time. At this time means not in the golden age. This world is called the lowest tamopradhan world. So human beings are in the most degraded age at this stage at this time. No one except you Brahmins can understand these things. The Father says this is the corrupt world of devils. There won't be this type of atmosphere in the golden age. That was the elevated world. Their pictures do exist. So we have pictures of the perfect world. We have words like heaven, paradise, utopia, El Dorado, which signify the perfect world. So Baba says, truly they were the masters of the elevated world. Those kings of Bharat who existed are worshipped. So Sri Lakshmi Narayan were also kings. They did not have any magical powers. They were also king. But they had purity, they had divine virtues. That is why the kings from the Copper Age downwards worshipped the kings that were pure. They were pure and worthy of worship, but have now become worshippers. Worshippers are on the path of devotion, whereas worthy of worship ones are on the path of knowledge. So, in the golden age and silver age, when we are ourselves worship worthy, we don't worship. And when we fall down, we worship our own statues and figures. You now understand how those who are worthy of worship become worshippers, and how those who are worshippers become worthy of worship. There cannot be a single worthy of worship person in this world. Only the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, and the deities can be worthy of worship because both their body and soul are pure. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is worthy of being worshipped by everyone. Those of all religions worship him. The birth of such a father is remembered here. How is it remembered? In the form of Shiv Jayanti. So Baba says, there is the birthday of Shiva, but people don't know that he takes birth in Bharat. Nowadays, they don't even have a holiday for the birthday of Shiva. Whether or not you celebrate the birthday is up to you. But it is not an official holiday. So the government doesn't declare a holiday on Shiv Jayanti. Those who don't believe in Shiv Jayanti go to work. There are many religions. Such things do not exist in the golden age. There are no many religions in the golden age. There is just one religion. There isn't this type of atmosphere there. Now, because of so many religions, there is always a fight about holidays and which religion is given how many holidays according to their religious practices. So Baba says the golden age is the new world where there is only one religion. There they are not aware that the moon dynasty kingdom will follow them, because when they change from the sun dynasty to the moon dynasty, they are falling. So nobody should know that they are going to fall because they will not be able to enjoy their present state if they know the future. In the future, they are going to fall. Now, when we are going to rise in the future, it is good news, so we should know that. But when we are going to fall in the golden age into the silver age, there we do not have memory of what the future entails. So Baba says that here you know that so and so existed in the past and that you will be in the golden age. What past will you remember there? For the golden age, the past is the iron age. What would be the benefit of listening to the history and geography of that? So, if in the golden age you know your past, you will feel miserable about yourself. So, you don't need to remember the history and geography in the golden age. You know that you are sitting here with Baba. Baba is the teacher and also the Satguru. So he is teaching and then he will take us back with himself. The Father has come to grant everyone salvation. Salvation from what? Not salvation from birth, salvation from sorrow. Remember this. He will definitely take all souls back with him. Human beings say out of body consciousness that everything is going to turn to dust. They don't understand that the souls will depart, souls will not perish, they will not turn to dust. So the soul has to continue a forward journey, and the soul will carry its charitable or otherwise karma and its sanskar with itself. So a soul is not going to turn to dust, and a soul has to make an effort to claim a status by earning good sanskars and performing good karma. So Baba says, they do not understand that the souls will depart and that the old bodies made of clay will then be destroyed. I, a soul, leave a body and take another one. This is my last birth in this world. Everyone is impure. No one can be eternally pure. There are definitely the stages of Sato Pradhan, Sato, Raju, and Tamo. So, according to the law of entropy, also, with time, everything changes its state. So Baba says, those people say that all are forms of God, that God created his many forms for entertainment. So will God ever take a form that is not himself? So God cannot become impure because stands for purity, is the ocean of purity. So how can he take an impure form? Neither do they understand the account of anything, nor do they know the one who entertains. The Father sits here and explains to you the world history and geography. Each one's part is in a place separate, so nobody's part is alike with the other. So everybody has been given a different role. So we are not bigger or smaller or less important or more important. We are unique. So everybody's part is different. It's not good or bad or smaller or bigger. These things will not exist there. So Baba says each one's part in a place separate. Each one's position is separate. Whatever position someone has, that is praised. So it doesn't matter what position you have, what role you have, it is your performance that is praised. The Father explains all these things at the confluence age. In the golden age, it is the part of the golden age that is performed. These things will not exist there. So in the golden age, there is no feeling of high, low, mighty, not mighty, good, bad, wrong, right. There is no feeling of this kind. Here we need to be educated that actually we are only different and unique. It's not like we are less worthy, more worthy, or according to position and parts we need to label ourselves. So this education is required here. In the golden age, these concepts don't exist. The knowledge of the world cycle turns around in your intellects here. Your name is spinners of the discus of self-realization. So we spin the whole cycle and we try to remember what was the practice in earlier times. Lakshmi and Narayan are not given the discuss of self-realization because they don't need to remember the past or future because that's not good news. The discuss belongs to this time. Only souls reside in the incorporeal world. There is nothing in the subtle region. Animals, birds, etc. and human beings all exist here. They show peacocks in the golden age. There they don't pull out the feather of the peacock and wear them, just like in the pictures of Sri Krishna you see. That's not true because the peacock stands for purity, so it is to symbolize purity that they show a peacock's feather in the crown of Sri Krishna, but Baba says they don't cause a peacock any pain there. They don't even pick up the feathers that have fallen off a peacock and put them in their crowns. No, those have been shown in the crown falsely. There, everything is beautiful. There is no name or trace of anything dirty. There is nothing there at the sight of which you would feel dislike. So everything is beautiful there. Here you feel dislike, do you not? You feel abhorred by things. You feel disgusted at the sights and sounds here. There everything is beautiful. There, even animals don't experience pain. The golden age is first class. The very name is heaven, the new world. Here in the old world, even buildings collapse in the rains and people die. When earthquakes take place, everyone gets buried under the ground and dies. In the golden age, there will be very few people, and then the number of them will grow. First, there will be the Sun dynasty. When the world becomes 25% old, it will be called the Moon dynasty. The golden age lasts for 1250 years. It is 100% new world. The deities rule there. Many of you forget these things. The kingdom has to be established. You mustn't have heart failure. That is, you shouldn't get disheartened. It is a matter of making effort. Don't lose hope. The golden age is very certain. Just keep making effort. And what effort is it when Baba is guiding us, holding our hand? The Father inspires all the children equally to make effort. You are establishing heaven on earth for yourselves. Examine yourself to see what you will become. Acha. Examine yourself to see what you will become, because Baba said each one can only check themselves what effort are they making. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the mother, the father, Bab Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for dharana. At this most elevated age, study the study to become deities of heaven and make yourself worthy. Do not have heart failure, that is, do not become disheartened with your efforts. Each actor in this unlimited play has his own individual part and position. Each one receives respect according to his position. Understand all these secrets, churn the world history and geography, and become a spinner of the discus of self-realization. The blessing is, may you be a true benefactor of yourself by following Srimad and stop following the dictates of yourself and the dictates of others. So listen to what Baba says. Stop listening to what your mind says or what other people say. Baba says, the Father has given you, the children, all the treasures for benefiting yourself and the world. So you have been given whatever you have been given so that you can use it to elevate your own stage and use it to benefit the world. To use them wastefully or for a non-benevolent task, or to make Srimad with your own dictates or the dictates of others, is being dishonest in looking after what you have been entrusted with. So if you mix your own dictates and the dictates of others and do not go by what Baba has given, the directions Baba has given with regard to his treasures, then you are being dishonest with the things you have been entrusted with. So, a trustee should always follow the guidelines. If you don't follow the guidelines, then you are being corrupt. Now, finish this dishonesty and mixture and imbibe spirituality and mercy. Have mercy and benefit yourself and everyone else. Look at yourself and look at the Father. Do not look at others. Slogan: only those who are not attracted anywhere else can be constantly cheerful. Because if you are attracted right now, you will be repulsed later. And when you are attracted, maybe you feel cheerful, but when you feel repulsed, your cheerfulness will be lost. So, if your cheerfulness is because of attraction, then it will not be everlasting. So, Baba says only those who break the cycle of attraction and repulsion can stay constantly cheerful. Om Shanti.